What's up everyone, my name is Alpha and today we're back for another Pokemon challenge video. Today we're on Pokemon Omega Ruby and today's challenge will be, can I beat Pokemon Omega Ruby Hardcore Nuzlocke using only one Pokemon of each type or one type of each Pokemon. Basically, if I use a Pokemon and whatever typing they have, I cannot encounter another Pokemon of the similar typing. That will also include a dual typing. So a Pokemon with two typings cancels out two different types. So I can't use that for the rest of the game. I can only use Pokemon of one of those typings, which is going to be very, very unique. I saw it on YouTube, I saw him recommend it, and I stole the idea. But it's also going to be a shiny hardcore Nuzlocke where we have to shiny hunt for each of them. So there was a little mix into it as well. That should cover all the rules real quick. Wow, I'm really getting good at mentioning all the rules that quickly, including each of my Pokemon will be nicknamed after you guys in the comments. So thanks so much for leaving a comment in the previous challenge video. If you guys want to be nicknamed after a future Pokemon in my future challenge video, just drop it in the comments and hopefully I'll pick yours. And while you're down there leaving a nickname, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me that you guys support me. Anyways, let's get into the challenge video itself. Quickly, do you guys actually like the Plants vs Zombies video? I know not a lot of you guys watched it, but I'm pretty sure it's a pretty good video. If you guys haven't checked it out and you guys do like Plants vs Zombies, please check it out. It means a lot to me. Anyways, let's get into the challenge video. So picking a starter Pokemon is going to be very important because it's going to cancel our typing immediately. So we have to be very specific on our starter Pokemon. And I decided to choose Torchic because there's not a lot of good fire type Pokemon in the Hoenn in general. So I thought it was great to cancel out that and have a pretty good fire type and a fighting type for later on as well. So we finally eventually found ourselves a shiny Torchic and added to our team, which is going to be pretty nice. I don't think we use Torchic that often, but we have a shiny Torchic and now we can move on and face off against the first trainer in the game, which is going to be May. May almost beats us down, which is incredibly dangerous. But outside of that, we have access to Pokeballs now and we can skip the first few routes because we don't want to encounter those Pokemon. And since we're playing on Omega Ruby, I forgot, we don't want to encounter the grass type in this route because it's not going to be a Lotad. So we're going to have to skip this route and move on into Route 104, which is going to be west of Petalburg City. And in here, we're going to try to look for a normal flying type Pokemon in Swellow. And unfortunately, we searched out and we found ourselves a shiny Wurmple instead, which not the greatest because it's going to be a bug type Pokemon. And unfortunately, this Wurmple for us will actually evolve into a Beautifly. So that means flying types are canceled out, so we can't get a flying type Pokemon anymore, we can't get a bug type anymore. So that also works for us because we go into Petalburg Forest and we can search out. That means we can't get a bug type Pokemon, so kind of cancels out half the forest. We're looking for either a Slackoff or a Shroomish, and eventually we actually found ourselves a shiny Shroomish, which is actually pretty nice for us. We found ourselves a shiny Shroomish and added to our team, which is going to be pretty useful as we head into the first gym of the game. The first gym in the game is going to be against Roxanne. Roxanne's going to be the rock type gym leader of the game, and we're going to start the battle off against her using my Shroomish to just Mega Drain down both her Geodude and her Nosepass, which will be easy wins for us as we're able to get our first gym match of the game, and that's about it. From there, we're going to head into the next gym of the game, and since we already have a fighting type Pokemon and we have a flying type Pokemon, we can't actually encounter Zubat or a Makuhita in Granite Cave, so Granite Cave's kind of useless to us. We could have actually went there thinking back to get an Abra, but that's very rare and most likely would have teleported it on us. Granite Cave's actually useless for us, unfortunately. So we have to go out and actually evolve our Torchic into a Combuskin and then face off against the second gym leader in the game. We're going to face off against Brawly next, and Brawly is it's going to be awful. We're going to start the battle off against Brawly using my Beautifly, and Gus will one-shot the Machop and also one-shot the Makuhita as we're able to beat down Brawly in 2 turns and we could quickly move on. From there, we're going to head into the route where we face off against a rival. I'm not too sure which route. I don't know, 111? Just pretend it's 111. We're going to face off against May next and beat down May. And then we're able to encounter a new Pokemon in here. We can encounter up to Zigzagoon, Gulpin, or an Electrite. We actually found the best one of the 3. And we found ourselves an Electrite, which is going to be pretty useful on our team. We're going to catch it and add it to our team real quick. And then we're going to face off against the third gym leader in the game. We're going to face off against Watson. Watson's going to be the electric type gym leader of the game, and we're going to start the battle off against this Magnemite using my Shroomish to actually leech seed him, bait him into a Thunder Wave, and then switch out into my Combuskin, take a Volt Switch, which is unfortunate. Then I'm going to Flame Charge into his Voltorb and Power Punch it as well to get my attack boost and also my speed boost, and then I just got to Power Punch the rest of his team, and that should do it as I'm able to knock out his Magnemite and his Magneton as we're able to sweep down Watson and get the third gym badge of the game. Now we're going to move on into the route west of Malville City, and we have a bunch of Pokemon in this grass to encounter. Unfortunately though, there's not a lot of great Pokemon here, but there's still a lot of Pokemon for us to encounter. We encounter ourselves a shiny Zigzagoon, which, I mean, I guess we'll take it because it can learn Rock Smash for us. But by the ends of this, I'm gonna have to box smash Shroomish because I realize Shroomish evolves into a Breloom, which is a fighting type Pokemon too, and that kind of cross paths with my Combuskin, so I can't use Shroomish anymore because there's no real reason for it. But from there, we're going to face off against the next gym leader in the game. We're going to face off against Flannery. Flannery is going to be the fire type gym leader of the game, and we're going to start the battle off against her using my Combuskin. Combuskin's going to immediately Pyro Punch into the Slugma and one-shot it, surprisingly. We end up beating the Slugma and also beating down the Numel in one shot. Her next Pokemon is going to be a Torkoal, which I go for a Rock Tomb. It's going to two-shot down Torkoal as it doesn't get paralyzed on me, and we're able to beat down Flannery. We're sweeping through all these gyms super easily, but maybe it'll get harder as we go on since we're gonna have very limited Pokemon. We actually added Shroomish back to our team because of one thing. I want to have a sack for the next gym because the next gym in my eyes is a little more difficult. But from here, we're going to actually head into the desert, and the desert in this game has a lot of encounters for us. All we gotta do is avoid a Cacnea shiny, or this route is going to be voided. So we're going to actually search out for our next shiny Pokemon, which is going to be a shiny Trapinch, which is, oh my god, the best thing you can get in here. So we get ourselves a shiny Trapinch, and we're going to add it to our team. Spend a lot of time catching it because it takes a little bit. But surprisingly, we got a Trapinch of all things. I was expecting like a Sandshrew or something. We can't even get the fossils because all the typings of the fossils we already used. We already taken Bug for our model and also the grass typing for Cradily, so we can't use any of the fossil Pokemons at all. But from there, we're able to go out and face off against the next gym leader in the game. We're going to face off against Norman next. Norman is the normal type gym leader, and he's going to start the battle off against us using a Slacking. I'm going to start the battle off against him using my very cool Manectric that I didn't update on the side, which I just realized. I'm going to Charge Beam into the Slacking, which is actually very helpful as I get a special attack boost. He Encores me, which, I mean, I was going to use Charge Beam anyways, as I get a few more special attack boosts against him, and that should be the end of the battle. I was actually pretty worried about this, but it actually works out as I'm able to Charge Beam, knock out the Vigoroth, and my Encore ends. And then I'm just going to full dive into it and discharge into the Slacking, and ends up one-shotting him and beating down Norman in a couple turns without taking any piece of damage at all too. So we're able to beat down Norman. We can evolve our Shroomish, or we have to throw him away. But at this point, I should box him anyways because my team is pretty much set. I just need a water type Pokemon, so I switched out in the water, and hopefully, I'm very hoping I don't get a shiny Wingo or I have to go to a different route and get another water type Pokemon. But lucky enough, we get ourselves a shiny Tentacool, and that should do it. We have a Poison Water, Dragon and Ground eventually, an Electric type, a Normal type, Bug Flying, and Fighting Fire. So we don't have any overlapping types, and the Shroomish doesn't count so far. So as long as we don't get any deaths, we don't have to repeat and go through the struggles of this. So we have a decent team so far. We're going to face off against the next gym leader in the game. We're going to face off against Winona. Winona is going to be the flying type gym leader of the game, and we're going to start the battle off against her using my Manectric again. Manectric is going to Charge Beam, does not get a special attack boost, which is unfortunate. So her Altaria comes out next, and it does a lot of work against me. I thought it was going to go for an Earthquake. It does go for an Earthquake, and then I thought it was going to go for an Air Lace. However, it goes for a Dragon Breath when I go into my Vibrava. Does a lot of damage, so I can't actually stay in, or I'm going to lose my Vibrava. So that was a poor play on my part. I go out to my Combuskin. It does still have Earthquake, obviously, but it goes for a Con Guard, and I'm like, well, I have no idea what to do here. He goes for a Roost here, and I decide to go out into my Tentacruel on this turn. He does a lot of damage to me, and then I realize I don't have any moves on my Tentacruel at all because the XP Shear kind of carried me up here. So I use Acid on him looking for a defense drop. It did not work. I decided to go back out to my Manectric, take about over half to me, and now all my team is basically dead. So I decided to go out to my Beautifly. Luckily enough, I am able to do some chip damage with Air Cutter. I take a Dragon Breath, and then I'm able to finally knock him out with an Air Cutter. So thankfully for Beautifly, I am able to knock down Winona's ace Pokemon Altaria. And then from there, I can switch out into my Manectric against her Pelipper, which I know I can pretty much one-shot. So discharge will knock out the Pelipper, and her final Pokemon will be a Skarmory, which I discharge and knock out in one turn. And we end up beating Winona, get the 6th gym badge of the game. A little more effort than I thought it would happen, but we end up beating Winona. And then from there, we head into Mount Pyre, which we were able to get ourselves a Ghost type Pokemon. But I didn't see the purpose in it because my team is pretty much set. We don't need to mess it up right now, but we'll come back if we need it. And then from there, we can move on, and then we can face off against all the Team Magma Grunts in the world. And we beat them down pretty easily, as Tentacruel is a pretty good Pokemon. We have the Sea Incense on it just to do extra damage. I know they're level 18 Poochyena, but still extra damage. And then from there, we can move on and face off against the very easy Tate and Liza in the 7th gym of the game. which they only have 2 Pokemon, 1 each, in this double battle fight. We're gonna start the battle off against them using my Flygon. Normally I don't do this. My team is very weak to ground and rock, so I decided to evolve my Vibrava into a Flygon by this gym. I kept my Tentacruel in just because it has a lot of special defense, so I end up surfing, almost one-shotting both of them and crunching to knock out the Solrock for sure. The Lunatone still stays alive, so all we gotta do is we just gotta keep attacking it until it goes down, and eventually it does, and we end up beating Tate and Liza without losing a single Pokemon. I think that one time I lost my Heracross scars me because they're not that good of a trainer, and I can't believe that's on YouTube right now. It's public, where I lose a Pokemon to Tate and Liza. From there, we're gonna face off against Maxie next. Maxie's gonna be the leader of Team Magma, and pretty much harder than the gym leaders we just fought. We're gonna surf and one-shot the Mightyena though, and then I take it back, it's not that difficult. We're also gonna surf, 2-shot down the Weezing as well, and surf, 2-shot the Crobat. And I take it back, maybe Tentacruel is just really good as a Pokemon, but we're gonna surf and knock out the camera. But that means my Pokemon actually goes over the level cap, so that means I'm unable to use Tentacruel in the next gym, which doesn't really matter because it's gonna be a water type gym, so I guess I'll be fine. From there, we're gonna face off against Primal Groudon, which is gonna be a fire and rock type Pokemon, which is gonna be stalled up by my Flygon because it has levitate and it's flying. I'm not too sure. I should have been flying type too. I don't know. I should have 4 typings. Anyways, we're going to 2-shot him with Earthquakes as we outspeed him. We ended up beating Primal Groudon. I mean, I think Primal Kyogre would have been harder. But anyways, from there, we're going to face off against the 8th gym leader in the game. We're going to face off against Wallace next. Wallace is going to be the water type gym leader. And we're going to start the battle off against him using, obviously, my Manectric to Charge Beam into the Love Disc. Don't get a special attack boost, but I know he's going to switch out into his Wish Cast. So I decided to go out into my Beautifly, which is actually under level on accident because I didn't think I actually need to use him this much. But Giga Drain to knock out the Wish Cash in one shot is pretty nice. After beating the Wish Cash, he sends out his Milotic. I go out into my Manectric and I go for a Discharge. It did no damage. I'm like, okay. And then I go for a Thunder Wave against him, and it goes for a Recover. I'm able to charge him almost double the damage from my what even happened there? So I'm able to basically knock him out using a Charge Beam. I was confused by the damage. I was so confused by the damage output that I was shocked, so I had to switch out to my Beautifly because I didn't trust what was going on. So I Quiver Dance in front of the Milotic and then Giga Drain it to knock him out because I was just so unsure of what's happening with my damage. But from there, I am able to Giga Drain and knock out the Celio and also finish off against the Sea King to get the 8th gym badge. Can someone tell me what happened with the discharge damage? Why did it do no damage at all? It does not have multi-scale. I know this Milotic does not have multi-scale for sure. From there, we got all 8 gym badges and we're able to go into Victory Road where Manectric finally gets the sweep it was looking for against Wallace against Wally. All the W's over here. We're able to beat down Wally pretty easily, and then we can finally enter the Pokemon League and face off against the Elite Four next. The Elite Four is going to be a pretty decent challenge against us. As we start off our Elite Four challenge against Sydney first. Sydney's going to be the Dark type Elite Four member of the game, and we're going to start the battle off against him using my Beautifly against his Mightyena. We're going to start off by Quiver Dancing in front of him, taking a Crunch, which is pretty hefty. At this point, I should have Giga Drained to get my HP back, but I went for a Bug Buzz to knock out the Mightyena, which is pretty tough. From there, the Absol, I was pretty worried if it did have Sucker Punch or not, but I decided to go out and just risk it anyways and Bug Buzz to knock out the Absol. He then switches out into his Shift Tree, which has another priority move, has Fake Out. It does a lot of damage to me, but I am able to survive and I'm able to Bug Buzz to knock him out. He then sends out his Sharpedo and I'm like, there is no way. I've never seen him use Aqua Jet before. I've seen everything else, but I've never seen him use Aqua Jet. He uses Aqua Jet and knocks out my Beautifly, catches me off guard. I'm like, oh my god, I just lost a Pokemon. At the very start, against Sydney of all people, I go out into my Manectric to knock out the Sharpedo and also go out to my Blaziken to knock out the Cacturne, but it was just frustrating to see that I lost the Pokemon so early and so soon. From there, we're going to face off against Phoebe next. Phoebe is going to be the Ghost type Elite Four member of the game. We're going to start the battle off against her using my Manectric against her Dusclops. We're going to go for a Charge Beam. It gets a special attack boost. It goes for a Confuse Ray instead of a Curse this time. So I was looking forward for a sweep, but it ends up I hit myself in confusion and then it cursed me up. And I can't risk knocking myself out as I risked it one time. Didn't work out too well, so I gotta switch out my Manectric. It's pretty much out of commission for the rest of this battle. I go out into my Tentacruel, which is able to knock him out, but he of course inflicts a curse on me as well. He goes out into his Bayonet next So I decided to go out into my Flygon, which does have a dark type move, which is pretty nice. So I decided to go for a crunch, and he grudges me, so I have no more PP on the crunch. And these Elite Four members are really messing me up at this point. I go back out into my Tentacruel against the Dusknoir, and I'm able to do some decent damage, but not a lot, as I have to switch out into my Blaziken next. I go for a bulk up in front of him. I go for immediate Blaze Kick, which doesn't knock him out. So now I'd go for more Blaze Kicks against him. Eventually I am able to two-shot him and knock out the Dusknoir. And his next Pokemon is going to be a Bayonet, which I end up knocking him out in one shot. Also the Sableye. And oh, we got very close. I don't know why I went for a Flame Charge, but I should have went for a Blaze Kick. From there, I switched out into my Flygon to Earthquake and knock out the Sableye. And Phoebe really messed me up, I'm not gonna lie. That was a dangerous battle. From there, we're going to face off against the next Elite Four member of the game. We're going to face off against Glacia next. Glacia is going to be the Ice type Elite Four member of the game. We're going to start the battle off against her using my Manectric to Charge Beam into her, as she sets up a Light Screen, which is always fun, always great. I end up staticking her, and I get a few more Charge Beams off. I get a lot of special attack boosts, which is nice, and we actually end up knocking him out, which is super nice, and the Light Screen fell. But the next Pokemon is going to be a Frostlass, and she's getting confused with me just like the Dust Clouds before, and at this point I get hit with a Blizzard, and it's just so disappointing. From there, I switch out to my Blaziken. At the very least, I am able to Blaze Kick and knock her out, which is fine, which is fun and all. From there, she switched out into her Walrein, which I don't have an answer to really well. So I decided to go out into my Tentacruel. Tentacruel can do a bit of damage with Sludge Wave. It does 3-shot it, and it does get a poison on it, but it's going to heal up, and my Tentacruel is low on HP at this point. But I know I can outspeed it, and luckily enough, I do get the KO on the Walrein with my Tentacruel. From there, she switches out into her Frostlass, which I had to switch out into my Blaziken immediately. I'm not going to miss a Blaze Kick this time, which is nice, and I'm able to knock out the Frostlass to one shot. And from there, her final Pokemon will be a Glalie, which I miss a Blaze Kick on him, but I'm able to Blaze Kick and knock out the Glalie in one shot pretty easily, as we end up beating Glacia. A lot less trouble than the other ones, I'm not gonna lie. From there, we're gonna face off against the 4th Elite Four member of the game. We're gonna face off against Drake next. Drake is going to be the Dragon type Elite Four member, and we're gonna start the battle off against him using my Flygon, which maybe isn't the best move since I do have Tentacruel with Ice Beam, but we're able to Dragon Claw and knock out the Altaria in one shot. From there, he switches out to his Kingdra, which I'm able to also Dragon Claw. Does not one-shot him. He goes for Ice Beam. Luckily, he doesn't one-shot me either. But that was, I can't believe, how did I not one-shot the Kingdra? This is why Garchomp is so much better than Flygon. But Flygon's able to eventually knock out the Kingdra for us. And from there, he's going to switch out to his Salamence, which I have to switch out from my Flygon because he sucks, into my Lanoon. This is the first time you've seen Lanoon. And Lanoon actually did something positive. I go for a headbutt. He misses 2 Dragon Rush against me. And I get another one against him. He goes for another Dragon and he misses again. I do have a Lax Incense on, but I go for a Rock Smash against him so I can knock him out with a headbutt the next turn. He finally hits me with a Dragon Rush, but I'm able to knock out his Salamence with a headbutt. And my Lanoon's able to knock out the Salamence, which is crazy. From there, he's going to switch out to his Flygon. I'm able to switch out into my Tentacruel to Ice Beam and knock out the Flygon in one shot. And his final Pokemon will be another Flygon, which I'm able to Ice Beam, outspeed him, and knock him out. We end up beating Drake, which is going to be the easiest member of the Elite Four, apparently. From there, we're going to face off against the final Elite Four member of the game. We're going to face off against the champion. We're going to face off against Steven Stone. Steven Stone is going to be Steel Mineral typing. I see some enemies. We start the battle off against him using my Manectric to Charge Beam into his Skarmory. And then I get another Charge Beam off as he sets up spikes. So we get a free KO on his Skarmory. Then he's going to switch out to his Aggron though, but I'm just going to stay in. I go for a Charge Beam. I live in an Earthquake easily. And I'm able to discharge, and I'm able to Charge Beam once again to knock him out. I get 1 special attack boost out of 4, which is kind of awful. I was kind of hoping to sweep his team with Overheat as I taught it to my Manectric, but I'm going to switch out into my Flygon against his Claydol as I'm able to crunch down into his Claydol and do some damage. It does a lot of damage, and eventually knock out the Claydol with my Flygon. He's going to switch out to his Armaldo next, and I decided to go for an Earthquake against him. That will actually set me up as I'm able to go out into my Blaziken next. Blaziken's able to Power Punch into the Armaldo. He does a lot of damage to me, but he's going to heal up, and I'm able to get 3 more Power Punches against him and eventually knock him out, which is super free. As we also learned the move Sky Uppercut, which is getting pretty decent. I actually don't use it for I don't use it. I don't know why I taught it, but I'm a Power Punch into the Cradily and knock him out. And his final Pokemon will be a Metagross, a Mega Metagross. I'm able to Earthquake and knock out the Metagross in one shot, and we end up beating Steven Stone pretty easily. We didn't lose a single Pokemon. We actually didn't lose a single Pokemon throughout the entire run until I forgot Sharpedo had Aqua Jet. That's the biggest mistake I ever made in this entire challenge run. Maybe also against Phoebe, I really choked a lot, but honestly, I can't. I've never seen Death Sharpedo do anything, so you can't blame me for not expecting it to have Aqua Jet. I know Sharpedo everywhere has Aqua Jet, but there's no way Sydney had Aqua Jet this whole time, and he never used it against me. I did not trust the AI to use Aqua Jet and all that against me, which is so insane. They actually teamed up against my Beautifly. That was the one battle I knew Beautifly had, and of course I choked it. It turned out okay at the end as we beat the challenge. Again, we lose a Pokemon, but it's fine. Anyways, I want to say thank you so much for watching all the way to now. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. If you guys can, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel. It means a lot to me. We're very close to 40k. And my name's been Alpha. Hope you guys all had a great day, and I'm out. Peace.